freshman number 14, Huda Stitiwi. At one guard, a freshman number 15, Dara Russo. At guard, freshman number 45, Addison Frymoyer. Also at guard, a freshman number 24, Jordan Barr. And at center, a sophomore, number 12, Astu Nadai. Head coach of the Lady Viking Junior Varsity, Brooke Adams, assisted by Dan Norman. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup of the coaching staff for the Lady Firebirds. Lady Firebirds entering the game today with a record of 4 wins, 10 losses. Starting this evening at one guard, a 5'5" sophomore, number 1, Macy Schwegman. At forward, a 5'9" junior, number 11, Avery Alberts. At guard, a 5'7" sophomore, number 14, Allison Bauman. At guard, a 5'4" junior, number 22, Holly Berger. And at forward, a 5'9" sophomore, number 24, Diamond Noble. Head coach of the Lady Firebirds, Brandon Davidson. Ladies and gentlemen, our officials for this evening's junior varsity game, Mr. Riley White and Mr. Dan O'Brien.
All right, welcome to Trent Arena for tonight's MVCC Women's Junior Varsity Game of the Week. Jared Bergstrom alongside Jeff Allen. It'll be the Miamisburg Vikings, all in blue, playing here at Trent Arena against the Kettering Fairmont Firebirds, all in white. Jeff, what can we expect to see out of these two teams?
Well, I'm definitely expecting a lopsided matchup according to how Miamisburg's game went with Centerville, Jared. They were very sloppy, didn't get a lot of spacing, and didn't really utilize their lanes very well. So if Miamisburg's going to come up with a W, Genesis Gardner definitely has to get the offense going tonight. And Miamisburg initially almost wins the tip, but Fairmont corrals it. That'll be number 14, Allison Bauman with the ball. She kicks it over to Noble on the wing, and that gets the Firebirds offense going a little bit, but can't get anything else as Nadei with the deflection. She was all over Noble that time. Fairmont will corral the ball back, and Bowman will inbound it. Out to Berger.
Back to Bowman, who will be guarded by Huda Stewie by the Vikings out at the top of the key.
Kick down to Bowman, almost picked out. Keeps it going. Berger driving. No one over there. Nadei still gets the block off almost. Looked like a block, but Avery Alberts hustles, deflects it out. That'll be Vikings ball, trying to break the subtle press. And there we go. The key to the game for the Vikings, as I just talked about, Genesis Gardner is going to have to be very aggressive, be the catalyst tonight, and she drives hard, draws the foul, or possibly end up as the Vikings' first points of the game.
Foul was on number 11, Avery Alberts of the Firebirds. And Gardner puts the Vikings on the board first with her first free throw of the game at 6:16 left in the first quarter.
And great start for the Vikings momentum-wise, as they had a very good defensive stand. Get down there. Genesis Gardner makes 2 very graceful free throws, might I say.
And that's something you can build out of for the rest of the game if you're the Vikings head coach.
Berger driving, screened by Noble, kicks it to the top of the key.
Looked like she thought about a 3, but she passes on it.
Almost good ball movement. Holly Berger misses the shot, and that'll be a rebound by Frymoyer. Addison Frymoyer at the wing, passes it back to Gardner, who's scanning the defense. And this is what I was talking about, Jared. They definitely need to get moving and fill those lanes up on offense. They can't really get anything. Everyone's just standing around manning their areas. Fairmont's going to take advantage of that all night as Frymoyer drives on Schwegman, kicks it to the wing. Gardner getting it inside, passing it. And that's exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of this game. Gardner fulfilled my expectations.
So far, Gardner has had her hand in all the scoring aspects for the Vikings early. An assist and 2 free throws.
Schwegman kick out to Bowman. Deflected by Staley.
Going to drive baseline as Schwegman doesn't get the free throw to fall, and it looked like Diamond Noble came up with the rebound but was out of bounds.
very impressed by the play early by Astuna Day. She's been very efficient down low, getting her hands on some balls and just deflecting it.
She was a big part in keeping Miamisburg in that Centerville JV contest we did a few weeks ago in the first half. She had a lot of deflections as that one goes out of bounds.
She deflected it there. A very energetic athlete nonetheless, Day is. Oh, it's a very bright future for these Miamisburg girls as only a sophomore. And Bowman drives isolated on Stewie.
Stewie gets the rebound, but it's going to go out of bounds and stay with the Vikings. And that you said that was Schwegman that drove baseline?
Yeah.
That's one of those buckets that the Firebirds are going to need to fall to maybe get some momentum going here early in the first quarter.
And the Day getting held on the wing by Noble.
Frymore here kicks it back out to Naday.
Very nice man defense now, covering the lanes, Firebirds very wisely.
I believe that was Gardner that drove in, misses the layup, but it's going to stay with the Vikings.
And every time she drives like that, she instills a certain type of contagious aggressiveness in her team.
Now
I think she needs to maintain that throughout the game.
You see number 5, Peyton, safely checks into the game for Noble for the Firebirds.
Frymore from 3, she takes it, no hesitation.
And a long rebound, and it's going to stay with the Vikings as it looked like Macy Schwegman tried to get it from going out of bounds, and it looked like she was bumped.
And Jared, early you're seeing almost a polar opposite of mentality from the Vikings as we saw in their game versus the Elks a couple weeks ago. Frymore kicking it around the perimeter.
Has it deflected by Bauman. And then over and back is going to give the ball back to the Firebirds.
A nice perimeter defense there, teaming up Allison Bowman and Avery Alberts. Bauman drives. She stops, kicks it over to Berger from mid-range, who
can't
just
get
right.
the bucket to fall, and Gardner comes up with another rebound for the Vikings. Pushes it up court to Frymore. Frymore gives it down low to no, that's not Stewie. That is. Well, maybe
Jordan
that was.
Moore.
3 on the way is good by Gardner.
Genesis Gardner is letting it rain early.
Timeout by the Firebirds as they find themselves down 7-0 with 3:10 left in the first quarter.
And they really need some spacing on offense. They keep on kicking it around that mid-range area. It gets very crowded, as you saw there. Miamisburg spread out as they have been the entire game so far on offense, and really utilizing number 15 skills, Genesis Gardner.
But did you see when she shot that 3 and she just planted both feet? And it didn't really look like she had a jump shot. But Vikings definitely surprising me early. 7-0 over the lead over the Firebirds.
Very nice. You see Brooke Adams talking to her team there.
And if you're Brandon Davidson of the Firebirds, what do you have to try and do? I mean, right now it just seems like the Firebirds need to see a bucket fall or a basket fall to maybe build some momentum.
We'll take advantage of Miamisburg's inability to be composed on defense. You saw a lot of the times versus Centerville, they threw the ball around, you get 3 people in one spot. They get very disoriented, they get worried about all these areas. And so I try to get a lot of passing around the perimeter, get the defense crowded up, and utilize your spacing like that. And for the Vikings, they just have to stay what they are doing. 7-0 though.
And really, I don't
3 minutes
see.
left.
I don't know what really you called what the Vikings doing. I haven't really. I mean, they're switching between a 1-4 zone and to a 3-2 zone. So I mean, it's definitely something we haven't seen out of the Vikings in this JV squad.
Man on man now, and they get the shot.
And Schwegman gets the first basket for the Firebirds, and it's a deep 3.
Net. It looked effortless. And that was what I was talking about right there with that spacing.
Now it's interesting to see how the Firebirds get back on defense as they cut the lead to 4. a lot of poking, and Fairmont comes up with a steal. Miamisburg's first turnover of the game.
Bauman bringing it down.
Bauman drives in, kicks over Schweigman from the other side. Hits the front of the rim, tries to track down her own rebound, and Gardner is going to go coast to coast for, well, I think Schweigman had a lot of defense on that one.
And great defense there. First by Schweigman, then by Safely.
Kicks it over by Schweigman from the Firebirds logo. Can't hit the three to fall. And you see Barr comes up with a rebound.
And Albert is all over it and causes.
Adams calls the timeout from the sideline to save the possession.
Surprising there. I thought it was going to be called a jump ball, but
I don't think Bauman ever really got a hand on it, and the referee kept looking for that. But I was wondering when.
A good hustle by Avery Alberts, getting on the floor, almost prying that ball from her.
You see here Schweigman's three. I mean, that wasn't just right on the line either. That was almost a good foot behind the line that she shot that from.
Yeah, and you saw the off-ball screen there. They're really going to have to rely upon their spot-up shots as Miamisburg is playing with a lot of urgency, not letting any shots within the post.
It'll be interesting to see how Miamisburg can continue this pressure off defensively throughout the rest of the game. I mean, early in the first quarter, you can sustain a quarter of pressure of man-to-man, but, I mean, can they sustain it throughout the whole game is a question we'll see throughout the next three quarters.
Gardner pushes it again.
Three on the way is no good by, I think that was Frymoyer that shot the three.
You got to love that attitude. You don't see that very often in girls' high school, junior varsity basketball. Passes from the free throw line, pushing the offense.
It's almost as this is a different Miamisburg team mentally. I mean, they're not afraid to take the shots like they were against the Centerville game we did a few weeks ago.
You see Mary Carter in now for the Firebirds.
And
that'll be a travel, I believe.
It's either a travel or a double dribble, but I couldn't see what the ref called.
That's costly.
Another turnover for the Firebirds here early.
The second quarter is gonna be where they need to step it up, as they were expecting a different Vikings team when they come in tonight.
Three is good.
Genesis Gardner is just ridiculous so far tonight in this first quarter. She's making everything happen for these Vikings.
Gardner has 8 of the team's 10 points so far with a minute left in the first quarter. Fairmont needs to find a way to get in the drought, and Carter's three is no good. And with just a minute left, Miamisburg will take back over possession. And you'll see number 4, Felicity Vidal, checks into the game for Allison Bauman for the Firebirds.
And instead of just trying to get spacing on offense, they have completely stopped driving in the paint. They're just trying to kick it around the perimeter, and there's no spacing without penetration.
And I think Miamisburg is going to take those shots all day.
For sure.
Frymoyer drives in, and she stepped on the baseline, so another turnover for the Vikings. Let's see if the Firebirds can capitalize on it with 46.4 seconds left.
That's the only asset of the game they haven't dominated is their composure. They still have 3 of those little tiny turnovers. And if they change that, they might be up by a whole double digits. Vidal circling the perimeter, tries to get the pass to Schweigman, but Gardner was all over that. That was a bad pass right there. Not a good decision.
Gardner dribbles out, had the numbers advantage, but gives it up. Down low to Barr.
Pass by Frymoyer.
And another easy bucket down low for the Firebirds.
Navigating through the defense, recognizing that Carter is there by her lonesome. These Vikings are playing very wise right now. Carter driving.
Kicks it out to Schweigman. Schweigman will launch a three. Her three is good. Her second of the quarter, and that is how the first quarter will end. Miamisburg has doubled up Fairmont early, 12-6 at the end of our first quarter. Miamisburg has definitely came to play so far this early.
Yeah, and they're getting used to Fairmont's repetitive actions. Really, they keep on trying to do the same types of things once they get into the half court.
You see there, what an excellent pass by Frymoyer down low to Barr.
I really think they need to get some more penetration. Even if they're not taking baskets down there, even a simple post up and kick out will cause a lot of movement and shifting from that defense.
Yeah, and it's something that, I mean, Fairmont has got to work on it. I mean, they've been really, I mean, besides those 2 threes, they haven't gotten really anything in the post at all.
Yeah, well, I hope Brandon Davidson is working some in and out plays, working in that for them, because they've gone to almost the same concept. About 7 or 8 times in that first quarter, you'll see the point guard go over to the corner, kick it to Schwegman, and set a screen so she can come around to the wing for hopefully an open shot. And they got a basket off of it the last possession and got another basket from a spot up 3 from Schwegman earlier, but they really hadn't had any success with that type of system.
And what Miamisburg has done well so far in that first quarter, what they didn't do in the Centerville game we did a few weeks ago, is wherever Centerville passed the ball, Miamisburg would almost send every player on the court to it. Right now, they're letting them play one-on-one, maybe double teaming them here and there.
Yeah, really covering the lanes nicely too. Jared, this is one of the only times I've been in Trent Arena where I feel like I'm the only one talking. And Holly Berger
Fairmont comes up
a
with
steal.
the steal.
Nade.
And she's going to go to the line to shoot 2 as Nade will pick up her first foul, team's first.
And she picked up the foul there, but she'll live with that one. Tremendous hustle from the half court, almost beating her to the basket after that steal. Great heads-up awareness by Holly Berger, but look at Nade. Look at her strides.
I wonder what her 40 time is.
Very good strides, and you see Berger clunks the first one. And every point starts to become essential midway through this second quarter. You start to get a little worried.
Second one is up and no good, but an offensive rebound for the Firebirds by Noble, and she is fouled, and I think Nade just picked up her second foul.
Really good skill there by Noble, coming down with that offensive rebound after clearing out space. You got Carter on the inbound in the half court.
Inbounds it to Schwegman. Schwegman's going to pull up from 3 again, and it is no good. But another offensive rebound by, was that Bauman or Berger?
That was Berger.
Berger with the putback, and that's the first points in the paint for the Firebirds this game.
And before that, Schwegman had scored the only points of the game, which leaves me baffled as to why she was so open. And you saw Brooke Adams shared that confusion on the sideline. She just
yeah, that one was found puzzling. I mean, right out of the inbounds play, and Schwegman was left wide open at to the right of the key.
That could have been very bad. Oh, not a good pass there. Trying to fit it.
Yeah, that's a dangerous pass, just right in front of the half-court line.
And telegraphed it all the way.
And that one is stolen away by the Firebirds.
Carter gets the first deflection, and then Nade mishandles it. Berger penetrating.
Kicks it back out. Schwegman's going to launch another 3. It's good. And that cuts the lead to 1.
And she'll take all the threes she can get, Jared. Great job by Berger, finally trying to get some penetration in there and kicks it out. And
Schwegman's
look at that.
3 out of 5 so far in the game from behind the arc. And a travel the other way. All momentum on the Firebirds' side on a 5-0 run to start this second quarter.
And that changed very quickly. Miamisburg can't even seem to move the ball.
Now you're going to see Mari Carter bring it up. Kicks it over to Schwegman. I thought she is going to shoot the 3. It's no good, but an offensive rebound by Noble, and the putback is no good. Well, she gets another offensive rebound.
Nice soft touch by Diamond Noble. Can't quite hit it, though.
3 straight offensive rebounds for the Firebirds, and it ends with Berger throwing it out of bounds, intended to Vidal. But so far, all momentum on the Firebirds' side, a 6-0 run to start this.
And all those threes are really going to benefit her and the offense later down the road.
Fairmont comes out and plays a full-court trap.
They're just taking advantage of Miamisburg's decision-making. And that's a backcourt right there.
They called it. She stole it right at the half-court line and walked backwards.
Schwegman has to be a little more aware. She peeled it and walked straight back.
That's just not knowing where you're at on the court. But another turnover forced by the Firebirds.
And Fairmont comes out with a different kind of defensive intensity. And they decide they're going to win this game on effort right now. Holly Berger cutting it off.
And she traveled. Another turnover for the Vikings in the second quarter. Their 4th already.
And I haven't seen this in a game before. For a minute and a half, Miamisburg hasn't been able to move the ball at all.
I don't even know if they have the ball in up court yet.
I think that was the first time, Jared. And Carter brings it down now. We'll kick it over to Vidal.
Back over to Carter. I'm just watching Schwegman.
They need to watch
in the corner.
Schwegman. She was wide open in the wing a couple times.
Down low to Berger. Berger's going to drive baseline, kicks it out to
They picked the wrong time to go to this zone, Jared. It's going to haunt them with
Schwegman
number 1 out
from
there.
behind the arc. No good. And another offensive rebound by Berger, and the putback is no good. But Noble fighting for the board. Noble has got to have at least 6 offensive rebounds so far in this game.
And that was the theme of the Centerville game. Really, offensive rebounds. The size disadvantage that Miamisburg has is insane. But Fairmont has to execute upon these second chance points. I don't think they've gotten any in the second quarter so far.
Another turnover forced by the Firebirds. 5 so far for the Vikings. Up court to Schwegman. Schwegman's going to drive in.
Definitely took the foul there.
Yeah. And that foul looks like it will be on.
I think she saw everyone coming. I think her plan was to draw the foul.
Foul was on the day, her 3rd foul, and you would have to assume she's coming to the bench with 3 fouls in the first half. Schwegman's first free throw is good, and it ties the game at 12 with 4:22 left in the first half.
And she has been perhaps the most dynamic player for the Firebirds offense so far. He's really changed the tone of this game.
Free throw is up and no good.
And all over them once again, causing a jump ball.
And that one is in favor of the Firebirds, so it'll stay with them.
The intensity of Fairmont's D is really what's changing this game. Carter to Vidal at the top of the key. Kick back to Carter. She posts up for a 3. Kicks down to Noble. Pass back to Carter. Hits the mid-range jumper. Good job by Carter. Stewie tried to lead the offense up, but it gets deflected away by Schwegman.
Carter giving the Firebirds their first lead of the game. Inbounds pass goes to Nadei, it looked like, and it's poked away, and it's going to go back to the Firebirds.
Creating another turnover. Oh, actually, it's going to stay with Miamisburg.
Oh, I thought the ref looked like he pointed up court, but
Massey on the inbound.
long
Tries to get it
inbounds.
to Knight, but very risky.
Gets it to Gardner, and she traveled. Nadei traveled.
And after all that, it's a sad series for the Vikings. Ever since they really came out for the second quarter, Jared, haven't been able to muster up any type of offense.
Over to Vidal, kicks it back over to Berger. Over to Carter at the top of the key.
They need to watch Schwegman on that wing.
Carter drives in, gives it to Noble, and Noble loses it, and a foul will be called on Noble, and I believe that'll be her first.
Great hustle there by the freshman center, Ariel Knight-Smith. Coming away with that steal. It really just fell off of Noble's hand.
Let's see what kind of defense the Firebirds come out, and it looks like they're going to be a full court press again. And really, they're going to go. It almost looks like a 1-2-1 zone.
And we're going to refer back to a common theme of the Centerville game once again, Jared, is Brooke Adams really doesn't call timeouts when she sees things.
Another turnover forced by the Firebirds. Schwegman drives in, gives it. Oh, it's poked away by Gardner.
And back and forth.
Another turnover. Berger drives in.
3 consecutive steals and does not convert the and one. But if I'm Brooke Adams, I'm calling my team together and I'm developing a press break.
Yeah,
something to instill a different system of passing.
I mean, you don't get to take the timeouts home with you.
Yeah, something different.
They call her not in the act of shooting. Carter from Schwegman. Carter's three's no good. Poked away, and it's gonna stay with Miamisburg.
In Fairmont. Oh, it's going to Miamisburg.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was close. And another turnover off the inbounds, and
Just not
Vidal.
communicating. Sammy Massey with another turnover.
Vidal didn't even try to drive to the rim. She just got it and threw it up and got it to fall.
And finally gets some kind of press break. Stewie.
Court, Massey.
Maddie Michaels muffs the layup. Naday muffs the putback.
And Fairmont controls it with 2:30 left in the first half.
The only chance they had at a fast break bucket.
Schwegman.
Schwegman from the corner.
Schwegman's three is nothing but nylon. 13 points for Schwegman.
Boy, she is money. And a
then
lack of
almost
communication once again. Holly Berger getting on the floor.
Jump ball in favor of the Vikings, so it'll stay with them.
And you see the difference in body posture now as the Firebirds have scored. I think that is 13 straight points.
Yeah, 13-0 run. And here, that's a shot I was telling you about Vidal. Just a catch and shoot, or a push. And
Mari Carter's much the same way. Her shooting style is more of like a set shot.
if you're and another
Avery Alberts with the steal.
it's
going to be a deflection, actually. Miamisburg ball, but
if I'm Adams on the sideline for the Vikings, I've got to call a timeout. Your team
a
is
full
playing.
one.
Your team is playing very sloppy,
Out of order.
and you're being shut out so far this quarter, and that is not how you expect to win a game.
And there's two players of possession looking like they don't know what to do.
The fast break steal off the inbound, and it's good. Fidel has her second bucket of the quarter.
It's been a long time since I've seen such a polar flip of a game. The day turning into a point guard, which is not good for Miamisburg. And they need to get the ball up. Massey hesitating for some reason.
And it's
Oh, if Vidal would have just
unnecessary
waited.
foul by Vidal, and a second or two from being an 8-second violation.
If Vidal would have just waited, that would have been a turnover. And you see her fast break layup there.
Michaels inbounds it to Naday, and like you said, you don't really want your big man dribbling the ball up court like the Vikings have.
And Massey gets it snatched. And then
Stolen away. Vidal up
King
court.
gets it snatched.
Vidal's going to pull up from just outside just inside the
Felicity
three-point line.
Vidal, a 5-foot junior guard, scores I believe
That's
6 points in a
straight
row.
in a row for her, I believe.
On fast breaks too. Really being efficient in transition, making it happen. The day gets the ball at half court.
That was almost a backcourt violation
have
by
to get-
Michaels, and
You would think they'd get Genesis Gardner in here.
finally Adams calls a timeout. This is something we've been waiting for.
Yeah, surprising it took that many errant possessions to get to a
That's
break.
about 7 minutes too late.
Yeah,
Overdue.
and now you have so much stuff bundled up that you need to talk about. You might as well just wait till halftime.
Where do you start?
Yeah. You,
I
might as
mean-
well, you start with the press break. You definitely want to become more efficient running in transition and offense. They just look out of sync. Definitely talking to each other, communicating. They really haven't done that at all.
And you said the press break. Miamisburg has only had the ball in up court, I think, maybe 3 times this quarter. And they've had 2 easy chances to break the press. They've got it up court on those chances, but they have missed easy layups to end this scoring drought.
Well, there's press break, and also you just have to have a certain kind of attitude. And they came out with it.
Yeah,
they
the first
lost
quarter
it
was
somewhere
fine.
along the way.
Like you said, completely polar opposites between quarters, from between the Vikings in the first and second quarter here.
Yeah, you're looking at 12-6.
Yeah, it was 12-6
compared
at the
to
end of the first.
9-0. Well, actually, that would be 17. Wow.
Yeah, 17-0 run. The Firebirds are on to start this quarter. Download in the day.
Try to get something going. Double team down
The day
there.
was
and
fouled.
They'll call the foul on either Alberts or Carter.
I think it'll be on Alberts. She looked like the one she got the hand.
And good hustle, though. by number 12 and 11.
That's Albert's second foul, team's fourth.
Yeah, it was almost a block because the angle Nade went up on. That's what caused the contact. But
Free throw is up and good.
Make the first one here.
And it ends the scoring drought for the Vikings, which almost went a full quarter. Second one hits every part of the rim and falls. Nade goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line. And if you're Miamisburg, you just got to get out of this half without getting up another basket and regroup at halftime.
Kicking it around the perimeter now. Over to the wing. Albert's driving baseline. Steps back.
No good.
Airballs the mid-range shot, but Holly Berger
on
all
the
in there.
Berger's fourth points of the game.
She got that rebound over Miamisburg center Maddie Michaels. And another steal.
Down low to Berger. Berger gets the roll in.
Oh my goodness. Fairmont is just abusing them.
Yes, this press break has definitely got the Vikings playing jumbled. And a foul, another one on Vidal. And that one's almost another one that you scratch your head at. It's like, why foul him there?
Those girls are getting active on the defensive side of the ball. And why not get a foul there? You're trying to get all the points you can before this half ends. Try to get possession one more time. Pass into Stewie.
They haven't really called her name since the first quarter either. Pass stolen away, 5 seconds left. Up court to Berger. Berger has to pull up. Berger at the buzzer. It is good.
Holly Berger with the transition layup at the buzzer. And that, the perfect way to go out for the Firebirds.
29-14 is your halftime score in our MVCC Women's Junior Varsity Game of the Week.
That was a 23-2 second quarter
run for the Firebirds in that second quarter.
Incredible.
And Miamisburg still has a chance to crawl back into this game if they can play the way they played that first quarter. Welcome back to our MVCC Women's Junior Varsity Game of the Week. Fairmont is currently leading the Vikings 29-14. Jeff, what stood out to you, or what adjustments does Miamisburg need to make, we should say, in this second half to try and get back into this game?
Well, I'll reiterate again, but break the press, slow down the offense, and quicker decision-making. And double dribbled it. I think that's a carry, actually, from Genesis Gardner, who almost broke out.
Yeah, she started off 8 of the first 10 points for the Vikings.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, what was that?
Yeah, I was confused there for a second.
You see Genesis Gardner, the carry again. So inbound comes from Alberts to Bowman. Oh, and Holly Berger and Bauman getting twisted up for the turnover. Hasn't happened to the Firebirds at all tonight. Really just getting misplaced. Lack of communication there. They'll keep Sammy Massey in the second half lineup. Genesis Gardner is back in, though. That's a big piece they were missing, a gigantic piece from their team. Genesis Gardner in that second quarter. Holly Berger gets the steal. Another steal for her already. Bauman, 3 from the top of the key. A little too hard. Possibly felt the pressure. Gardner taking it down on the break again. Gets it down low. Decides to pass it amongst 3 other Firebirds. And still ends up Miamisburg ball still. Massey gets trapped. You got Barr and Gardner in the same place.
And you hear Davidson calling for the pressure by the Firebirds, trying to get something going.
Both teams not entirely on the same page to open this second half.
Ball almost a half-court violation.
Gardner keeps it, drives on Bauman. Floater is good.
Good, and first basket of the second half belongs to the Vikings.
Genesis Gardner. That's exactly what they were missing in the second quarter. My goodness, initiating her own offense. And Schwegman is off in the corner 3. Gets her own offensive board back. Circles it around the perimeter. Bauman kicks it into Noble. Just off. Got Jordan Barr with a defensive rebound. Gardner guarded by Bauman. Almost half court.
Gives
Maddie
it over to Michaels at the top of the
movement.
key.
There we go. Massey coming around the screen. Gardner wide open mid-range.
Gardner gets
Beautiful.
it the fall. Gardner now has 12 points in the game. And a timeout called by Fairmont.
Her presence is just phenomenal. Not really communicating between Bauman and Alberts. They were both at the top of the key.
This is almost a kind of a remake of what that first quarter was for the Firebirds. When the Vikings got to jump out to a 12, it was 12-4 for a while, and Fairmont hit a bucket, or 12-3, and the Firebirds hit a 3 to cut it in half. But so far, Fairmont comes back out and plays sloppy in the third quarter so far.
Yeah, multiple turnovers and just not efficient play. They need to gather themselves again. And I understand that some of their offense is not working to its fullest capability when you're not in transition constantly like they were, forcing the pressure. But you still have to slow down in half court and take a few seconds. Try to get some deception, don't force anything. There's no shot clock. Just pass it around the perimeter until Miamisburg gets scrambled. That's really been working for them in the half court.
And really, Miamisburg, they've got 2 easy buckets, and really, it's kind of been in transition, too. So the Firebirds not really playing good transition defense getting back.
So Fairmont will have the ball to start out of this timeout. Schwegman kicks to Vidal, and they're circling around the perimeter now. Kicks it down to Alberts.
Turnaround jumper is no good.
That was way off, not anticipating the contact from Knight Smith.
Inbounds pass from the Firebirds. Wide open was in the corner and was Schwegman. I don't think they saw her. in the
Alberts.
hoop and the hack, but I think Alberts put the elbow on that one, it looked like.
Good positioning.
You see here, let's look at the end of a replay. It looks like she kind of bumps off.
Yeah, but Stewie still hit her arm while she was shooting from the behind, so would have got it no matter what. Good concentration by Alberts. And she converts the and one.
The old three-point play is good.
And still cranking
Fairmont
up the pressure.
Out, and it's going to stay with, no, it's going to go back to the Firebirds.
And that's the first turnover they have forced in this half so far. So let's see if that theme will reoccur.
Yeah, it went off of
Simply off
Barr's
of Jordan
hands.
Barr's ankle.
Schwegman left in the corner for three, no good. Finds the front of the rim, but an offensive rebound and put back by.
And that's Miamisburg's fault. They have to box them out. They cannot fall back into their same habits.
Yeah, Miamisburg definitely giving up way too many offensive rebounds. Kick over to Massey in the corner. Her shot's no good. A volleyball save falling down.
Genesis Gardner with an impressive offensive rebound and draws the foul. So continuing with her hustle here. And a one-girl show for the most part. Just gets hacked very hard by Holly Berger. There goes Stewie with the inbound. Kicks it into Barr. Passes it across the free throw line, and Smith no good with the jumper. Gardner no good with the jumper or the putback, and still an opportunity for the Vikings as Smith tracks it down. Gardner from three. No good. 0 for 3 on that possession was Gardner, but good perseverance to keep it going. Schwegman bringing it down on the break. Kick out to the corner. Alberts driving.
Drives in.
Layup.
Shot off the glass is good, and Alberts has 3 baskets in a row.
Perfect execution there by Avery Alberts.
Alberts now has 7 in the game. Actually, I think it's 7 in this quarter. Alberts
And
with
a
the
steal.
gives it off to Berger. Berger can't get it to fall, but on the putback, and Schwegman gets it to fall.
Wow.
Schwegman has 15 of the 38 points.
She has been dropping absolute buckets tonight.
And really, it's been from behind the arc is where her shot has been.
Yeah, such a sweet stroke.
Now you're going to see Gardner bring it up court for the Vikings with 3 minutes left in the third.
They're really going to heavily depend on her for any type of comeback. Alberts
With the steal, gives it over to Schwegman. Schwegman drives into the paint, loses it, and it's going to go back to the Vikings. Now you see Michaels comes into the game for the Vikings. And for the first time that I know of is Kenzie Seabrook.
Yeah, that's her first time this game. They'll also turn to Peyton Safely, 5'8" sophomore forward. Maddie Michaels will come in now for Miamisburg. Jordan Barr trying to look for something. Passing it around the perimeter. Gardner in the post and gets the little hook shot on Vidal. The first time I've ever seen Miamisburg get a size advantage. Safely driving. Tries the awkward mid-range floater, does not get the foul call she was looking for, but you have to stick with that. Very bad shot selection, too.
Schwegman controls it out at the top of the key. Almost threw it away, but Vidal definitely used all 5 foot of her frame to get that ball.
She has been putting every ounce of hustle she can in tonight.
Schwegman kicks it over down low to Safely. Safely, turnaround jumper is no good. And I believe that as Barr comes up and safely steals it, poked away, and it's going to go to the...
That's Firebird ball.
Firebirds. Late call by the refs.
Sloppy pass there by Jordan Barr, though. And there you saw Peyton Safely.
I think that's the only way you can break this Firebirds
very
press
big
is just get it out of your hands as quickly as possible.
He was not happy about that call. She gets it at the top of the
Safely's
key. 3. That was a very bad shot selection once again. And not even looking for the pass. She got the ball, and she decided she was taking a three-pointer. And you see
stop play momentarily.
head coach Brandon Davidson having a word with Safely. just to get that ball moving. Even though they're up by 18, this is still every stretch of the game is critical until you get down to about the last 5 minutes and you're up 20.
And even then, basketball lives and dies by a game of runs.
Jordan Barr
kicks it out to
Gardner, not getting a lot of spacing.
Gardner. Miamisburg coming up, fighting for the offensive rebound, and she is fouled. And that one was nowhere near the rim.
Peyton safely very mad about that one, as she's been looking for the call all night.
It is her first, team's first of the half, or team's second of the half.
You got Dakota King here on the line. She converts her first free throw.
Her first points of the game.
Schwegman with the rebound, and she's leading the transition. Safely down low.
Safely gives it over and safely throws it away.
One of the first times she looks for a pass all night. It was very, very off. So here we go. Gardner taking it down for the Vikings, down 17. Vidal gets the deflection. Gardner on the ground.
Timeout called by the Vikings to save the possession arrow.
Good call by Brooke Adams, but Vidal getting in there and fighting. She has been a dog all night long. One of the girls leading the full court trap they were trying to execute earlier. Good hustle by Gardner, getting on the floor and fighting for that. We've seen that a lot tonight, Jared. I'm actually impressed with some of the hustle. There's Brooke Adams in this timeout, trying to navigate some way to come back here in this fourth quarter. It's going to be difficult, especially with Fairmont putting all their starters back in to begin the fourth quarter. Only one they're going to have to leaf up is Schwegman. She's going to be sitting for some of that fourth. But other than that, Berger, Alberts, and Noble would be back in.
And today, she does play a lot of varsity ball too. And I'm assuming she probably won't be back in the rest of the game to play as much as possible. You're allowed to play 5 quarters, and
they're going to say they didn't inbound before they inbounded before the buzzer, pretty sure.
I hope we got that on camera. Ref admitted fault.
Dakota King going to Gardner now.
Gardner drives in. Gardner trying to get some separation between.
See a lot of movement from the Vikings offense now, so that's good. Holding the ball.
Massey gives it back over to Gardner, who's guarded heavily by Vidal. Kicks it over to Michaels.
Vidal all over Genesis Gardner.
Screen by Michaels. Gardner thought about the 3. And I think that's a shot she should have taken.
Not going to get many opportunities like it.
And a heads-up defense right here by the
Gardner to Barr.
Firebirds.
Good pass, but she cannot execute contested.
Fairmont just played 55 seconds of excellent defense right there. Turnaround shot. Won't get it off in time, and that is how the third quarter ends in our MVCC Junior Varsity Women's Game of the Week. Fairmont leading 38-21, and Miamisburg really did not show any signs of improvement from halftime.
Yeah, not many signs of life, but Gardner's little run at the beginning scored 7 points in that quarter, but Fairmont only scored 4. They really didn't have to do much. They just played really good defense and let some of their starters sit for this fourth quarter. And they're really going to have to finish it off now.
Fairmont did outscore the Vikings, though, 9-7 in that quarter. So,
and a lot of Miamisburg's problem, they have many, but one of their huge ones are depth. And the fact that they have to conserve some of the players from JV for varsity, it's going to affect them.
And really, this is one of the only teams I've ever seen in GWalk not hold a freshman team. And you can see that's probably giving them some fits too, is not having not lower, but more kids underneath them to play.
Well, yeah, you look at their JV roster, and Genesis Gardner is the only one who isn't a freshman.
So here we go, getting ready to start the fourth quarter. At this point, for Fairmont, is it just a hold on for the rest of the game, or do you come out and really try to run more of an offense up 17?
Absolutely. I think you tell your starters to go out there and really man the rest of this game. Hold it down. Don't try. Make the plays if they're there, but do not force any plays. Don't try too hard to make any plays. Just let the game come to you now. They have it in the palm of their hands. Massey being guarded heavily. You'll see Bauman back in.
And a foul, and I believe that'll be on Bauman, her first, team's third.
Fairmont's going to come out now. Bauman on the floor, Berger on the floor, Carter, Noble, and you'll see the first glimpse of Dina Zamara, 5'8" sophomore guard, number 10 for the Firebirds. Pretty much same lineup for the Vikings.
Look at Noble closing on the defense, down to one knee.
And wow, how did that pass end up in the Vikings' hands?
She just threw it up and hoped that somebody in blue would grab it, and they did.
Yeah, well, Ariel Knight-Smith with a big size disadvantage, and she definitely freaked out and let that get the best of it right there. Carter will be taking point duties on this possession. This will be their first possession of the fourth quarter, so we'll get a glimpse of their strategy here.
Kicks it over to Bauman. Bauman drives in, down low to
Zamora. And Zamara's shot is off.
Jump ball called in favor of the Firebirds. So Carter set to inbound for the Firebirds. Long inbound pass to Berger. Berger drives in. Kicks it off to Bauman. Bauman will drive in. Shot off the glass is no good. Noble almost comes up with another offensive rebound and
Dina Zamara showing some hustle there, getting some hands on the ball and making Dakota King go to the ground and travel.
Inbound pass. Bauman drives in, kicks it over to Carter in the corner. Carter launches a three. It's no good.
That'll be out of bounds. The Vikings ball. So a rather stagnant possession to begin the quarter for the Firebirds offensively, but not much needed, not much required.
No, up 17 with just over 5.5 minutes left.
Honestly,
it's a couple good looks, but at this point, it's like you said, you just coast. You run your plays.
If they literally just take the transition looks that they know they're going to get and execute on them like this.
Another forced turnover for the Firebirds.
Then they'll be fine.
Bauman take it all the way and off the glass. Bauman will have, surprisingly, that is her first bucket of the game.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of her, a lot of steals, a lot of good defense.
Kicks it over to Smith in the corner, gives it back to, well, I don't really know who that touched, but it came right back to her. Cross court to Massey.
And can't hold the ball. Wow.
Look at this defense by the Firebirds. Zamara has her trapped in the corner. And
that's going to be a foul because she was all over her, but good hustle there.
That is her first, team's fifth.
And if you're not drawing the foul, you can't corral anybody with your arms. You see her arms are going sideways, slapping at the ball. In about 5 seconds of that, it's going to be a foul no matter what.
Inbound pass is stolen by Carter. Carter's going to bring it up the court.
And this is going to be a theme for the fourth quarter, I feel like.
Carter gives it over. That is Seabrook. Gives it back to Carter. Carter over to Bauman. Bauman drives in, pulls up from the free throw line, and it is good. Back-to-back buckets by Bauman.
Good shot creation. And just off this, the Firebirds could probably stop playing right now and be fine. They didn't try offense at all, but
The Firebirds
that's not their identity.
Yeah, they're playing till the whistle blows. Jump ball in favor of Miamisburg.
Good job by Bauman getting on the floor once again. We've seen that a lot tonight from her.
And those are plays that don't come up on the stat sheet that she has had her hands in a lot tonight.
Gardner off the screen, driving into Zamora and gets it, gets the foul. She's had 14 of her team's 21 and missed an entire quarter, so that tells you something about the Miamisburg offense.
It seems like if Gardner's not on the court, the Vikings aren't scoring.
At all. And Gardner is a junior, so eventually throughout the season they're going to have to stop playing her so many JV minutes.
Right. I mean, what are the Vikings going to do next year? I mean, as a senior, she can't even play on the JV squad.
Yeah. JV team is going to be really shook.
Second one is up and good from Gardner. She now has 15 of the team's 22.
So Carter's bringing it down now for the Firebirds.
Bauman, I thought she was shooting three.
Wide
Zamora.
open. She misses it.
Knight Smith with the rebound. Up court now. That is Gardner running up quickly. And she's going to turn direction and run across the other side of the court.
Good composure. Stewie.
Stewie for three. Can't get the bank shot. That one was close to falling.
Very close.
Carter comes up with the rebound for the Firebirds. Carter's going to drive into the paint, kick it out.
And they're going to call it a carry. So Vikings ball.
Well, here we'll look at it slow time. What do you think this is a carry?
Yeah, that was. 2 times she put her hand under the ball.
Three on the way is no good by Gardner, and Zamora almost corrals it and saves it, but it's going to stay with the Vikings.
This is 3.5 minutes, Jared. If they don't execute on this possession, the game's probably over, realistically.
Yeah, Miamisburg has got to get a basket to fall, and then they've got to come out and almost play that press that the Firebirds are playing.
Yeah, they have to make up a lot of ground quickly.
And this is the do-or-die series right here for the Vikings. Do you try and mount a comeback? And the ball is poked away. That is Wells with the...
Wow, the layup was very far right. Surprised by that one.
I think her eyes got wide when she was driving to the lane. On the other end, no good shot from
Dakota
King.
Allison Bauman taking it down on the break.
Bauman's going to
runs
go
ahead
all
of
the
the
way.
defense and draws a foul.
And I believe that'll be on Gardner. No, that might be Stewie.
Yeah, who to Stewie.
Third foul on Stewie. Free throw is up and good for Bauman. Now has 5 points in the game, and now you see Safely is going to come in for, I believe that's Seabrook. Or no, that might have been Carter, actually.
It's corralled by King. And Safely, a nice hustle to force the jump ball. Oh, that's actually a foul on Safely.
That is her second foul. Zamora, that was a hold that Zamora did not get called for.
Stewie just trying to maneuver it around Seabrook.
And Seabrook forces the jump ball, and it's going to go back to the Firebirds.
Felicity Vidal running point guard for the Lady Firebirds.
I don't think she's really played so much this second half.
She played a little bit in the third quarter. She got
Okay.
really scrappy, a couple possessions. She was all over Gardner at the end of the third quarter.
Cross-court pass safely to Zamora. Down low to Seabrook. She's going to drive baseline, pull up,
Floater.
and doesn't get the floater to fall. But there you see that was Wells picking up cleaning up the boards on the putbacks, no good. And Vidal forces the turnover, but Gardner blows through and gets the bucket for the Vikings.
Wow, how about that hustle?
That turned into a Vikings turnover to a Vikings fast break real quick.
That's some of the most impressive effort that we've seen all night. And blocked by Gardner.
Swatted, and a jump ball will go back to the Vikings. So Gardner,
wow,
try not to count her team out.
And even if they lose, this has been really entertaining. This one lady effort, as it seems at times. Let's see how long Genesis Gardner can keep up.
I mean, at some point, why take Gardner away from the ball? Leave her with the ball. She has 17 of the 24 points for the Vikings, and
that's something she had a problem with.
And here we go,
a
drive.
Quarter.
Shot won't count, but she's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
She really had a problem penetrating on number 4, that low center of gravity. She moves really well horizontally. Felicity Vidal can cause problems in the future.
And it seems like the Vikings they've brought out Michaels out to screen her, Vidal, a little bit. And that's really helped those last couple possessions for the Vikings, and Gardner getting points. They're getting into the paint.
First of a 1-and-1.
No, I don't mind doing that.
A minute and a half left.
Second one is no good, and Seabrook comes up with the rebound for the Firebirds.
The Vikings are down 18. This game's over, Jared. I could safely say that.
Yeah, a minute and a half. It doesn't matter if Gardner comes out and shoots 6 straight threes and makes them. It's a little bit too little too late effort by the Vikings. But it's definitely a building block for the next game.
Safely with the travel.
And I don't know if her head's just not in the game, but she's just come in and she's had tunnel vision when she has the ball. And I think 2 or 3 fouls on her already. And she's only really come in this second half.
Yeah, that is not the ref's problem. That was a travel. Stewie.
Vidal pokes it away, and it's going to stay with the Vikings.
So 1 minute left in this game, Jared, and it doesn't look like the varsity is going to be a very competitive game.
Well, we kind of were thinking that going into the Centerville game, and Miamisburg definitely gave them a showing in the first half.
Yeah, well, let's see how far this gap can stray the game away.
Zamara comes up with the ball, and let's see if Davidson tells his players to hold on to the ball. No, well, Seabrook's just going to pull up and shoot a 3. And with 35 seconds left, Miamisburg has got to get up court, or they're going to be in jeopardy of the 8-second violation. Gardner over to Massey. Massey back to Gardner. Or no, there's Gardner shooting the 3, no good. It's going to stay with Miamisburg with 21.2 seconds left. Long inbound pass to Stewie. And Massey almost loses it out of bounds, gives it over to King. Back to Gardner. 11 seconds left. Gardner dribbles back out, down low to Michaels, and it's turned over. Vidal going to run coast to coast. 5 seconds left. Vidal gets it. The putback. No. Putback for the Firebirds. Counted at the buzzer. Seabrook on the putback, and that is how the quarter will end, and the game will end in our MVCC Junior Varsity Women's Game of the Week. Fairmont wins by 20, 45-25 over the visiting Vikings. Let's see if the varsity squad for the Vikings can kind of trim the deficit a little bit and make this a game. But signing off for the rest of the Miami Valley Communications crew, Jared Bergstrom, Jeff Allen, we'll be back for the varsity.